live.
Unfortunately.
Did you get a new office chair, or is that you've been on that time?
No, I've been on this. This is that Corsair, nice ass
Coarse hair, like someone with coarse hair.
Wow. What, did you design this chair? You're infamous for your coarse hair.
I got coarse hair on my gooch hole. I'll tell you that. I got
it all over your body.
I got another hole in my gooch, actually.
That's
it's for mounting. Like foul. I'm like a action figure that you mount on one of those see-through like arms to look like a Gundam flying in midair. There's a hole, and there's actually a mechanical screw in my hole. Yeah. There's a screw hole in my gooch, and you basically screw me into one of those stands, and then also, it looks like I'm flying.
Functional with like the horse action figure, like accessory, like if you were to be mounted on a horse or like a like a wild steer. Yeah. Like
a wild steer, sure.
It's a thing, right?
Is a steer, you're in Texas, so is a steer a bull then?
You know what? I was thinking it was some sort of pig, but you're right, it is a bull.
I think it's some sort of pig.
No, it's not a pig.
Yeah,
a steer is an ox.
Okay. A steer is it's still got his
also known as a bullock.
Nuts.
Ironically, it's also known as bullocks. Okay.
Bullocks, yeah.
It's known as a bullocks. Okay.
I'm thinking of there's a lot of name for pigs. You got boars and swine, and there's one other goofy one. It's not coming to mind right now.
Swine is pretty great. Calling someone swine is
it's
fire.
About the lowest of the low.
You swine. Why are pigs? Why are? It's so weird how we categorize. The right side of your face is so blown out. It's like brighter than your TV.
I turned my.
It doesn't matter. I wasn't really.
It's okay now. I don't want this to be ruined.
Hold on. It doesn't matter. No one watches this show, dude.
Dude, a lot of people do. There we go.
That's a lot of people do, dude.
It's not about the viewers. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
And the few lucky chosen that choose to experience it with us.
Few lucky chosen they are to experience this. Apparently Yaddle, the female, Yoda just speaks normally. So Yoda has just been talking like that for no reason.
That's a personal decision.
It's a personal freedom, like whether you want to wear your mask or not,
Right.
It's a constitutional freedom.
Weird ass backwards lingo, do it.
Yeah.
But you'll get roasted for it.
It's funny because the mask thing is so weird because, in regular conscious life, hardly anyone's wearing a mask anymore. It's rare to see someone wearing a mask than not. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's a group of people there's just a demographic of people that realize that this shit is still killing people who are like immune compromised and like disabled and all these things, and who are like adamant about still wearing a mask. And it's just like, I think they're right. Like, I think we should wear masks, but it's just like, I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's just I don't have to. So I don't. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I was never like that opposed to wearing masks because, especially like, I don't know, like when I was at the airport on a plane and stuff, it was like a layer of privacy, had my mask up, my hat down, and I was just like in a cocoon. No one could bother me.
Almost. Sometimes it's cozy sometimes to be masked up.
You just got to get a nice one. I had like
and when I'm looking at women on the subway, I can lick my lips and no one sees it. Lick my chops, and this already gives it away. So having the mask,
they're like, oh, he's just trying to get warm. His hands are cold.
It's cold on the subway. It's like it's August. Shut up. Okay?
It's the subway. It's cold.
I'm plotting. I'm licking my lips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was never.
Maybe I will go back to wearing a mask because, like, I've been getting. I tested myself for COVID yesterday because I had a dry throat, Luckily today it's not so dry. My eyeballs, though, I don't know if you can see the insides of each eyeball.
Rojo.
And it's and I put Visine in several times, didn't do anything, so I don't know what's going on. But it's like, yeah, maybe I should wear a mask more often just to not get sick in general. I mean, we're not kind of supposed to be like sardines everywhere. You know, we're not
just breathing on each other.
Yeah, breathing on each other, sucking each other's dicks. You know, it's
you see the video that's like a what do you call it? Like a thermal vision or whatever of like what breathing looks like, and it's just like clouds of whatever's inside your mouth, just
right,
pluming out.
Fumes. Like if you breathe pure black smoke, like it would you'd fill a room. It'd be impossible to see.
Right? Yeah. If you expelled it when you breathe, yeah. If you saw it, it would just be a massive cloud of whatever you got in there.
Massive cloud.
It's a fatty cloud.
There's this guy on TikTok who I forget his name, but he's one of the weird kind of awkward guy characters that goes viral all the time.
So many of those.
And I know there's so many. There's so many big TikTokers that their whole bit is being awkward cringe guy, which is great. It's hilarious, but that's so many of them. So many of them. They're huge. They're huge, and they stick to the bit. It's great. We need the see. That's the reason Hollywood sucks is because all these guys should be in movies, but they're not. Because we're too busy making Wakanda Forever. Just kidding.
See, I saw that last night.
Oh.
Yeah, you seemed confused.
Do tell. I seemed confused.
You were like, "What are you talking about?" When I said I was going to see it.
What? I did?
I think so. Review the text.
Review the documents. Review the text. Did you say it to me and Max, or
I think it was just you?
You didn't text me that, bro. Some Twilight Zone shit. Oh, you said Blark. You said Blark Poonth, so I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Oh, you knew what I was talking about.
I said Blark Poonth, and then you didn't respond. I was trying, bro. I understand what you're your best friend. I get it. I just didn't get what Blark saying Blark Poonth. I was like, that could be a million things.
I was upset because I was like, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
I swear. I was also at 8:17 drinking too, so I was just like, I was just like, my brain cannot. I understood Bavatar.
Yeah.
Bavatar. I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna lie. People who are like stuck in 2009 are like, the movie sucks, and it's like, it's not great, but by modern standards, it has aged very well. It's very unoriginal story-wise, but it's executed very well, and it's technically incredible. And the new one's going to be technically incredible also. So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we can. I'll write that down. But we got to get Black Panther, Black Panther,
Blue Panther.
Oh, thank you for writing that down. Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've heard just like almost exclusively negative things about it. You know.
Really?
But
check
it kind
Roddy
of.
Tommy.
Sorry.
Let's check the Roddy Tommy.
Oh yeah. Let's peep that. And
I said Wakanda Forever because that's what Tim Heidecker called it on as a joke on a movie
on his program.
On his program, what's the movie? On Cinema at the Cinema.
I didn't know he did that.
Oh, he's been doing that for over a decade. It's him and Greg Turkington reviewing movies, and it makes fun of everything. 84 tomato score, 95 audience score.
Yeah, no, I would honestly call it like upper, like top shelf mid.
Okay. Okay, top shelf mid, top shelf. Yeah. Is there another Marvel property or movie that you could compare it to?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like coming out of it, everything that's come out in phase 4, I thought it was at least on par with that, if not a little bit better than a few of them. Like, I thought it was better than Eternals or Shang-Chi or Black Widow. Or what else came out?
Tony really sees all this shit. It's good.
Just go see it.
Really sees all of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. Maybe a little bit slow in the middle. But there was like a intro part that was like his funeral, T'Challa's funeral, but you could tell it was for Chadwick too.
Oh,
and that was
really
pretty
sad.
cool. Yeah, because it was like
did T'Challa die behind the scenes canonically?
Yeah. It like opens up and they're like, he's super sick. And she's like, I got to figure out this DNA, structure thing. And she's like grabbing like stuff. And then,
sad and unfortunate because it's like, we already did that with Infinity War, thinking Black Panther was dead. And then now he just dies. It's like,
yeah, they honestly could have done something cooler where like, cause you don't have to see his face, right? He's in the Black Panther suit and he could have gone out in like a dope ass, like blaze of glory, if you will. But instead he just died of like a unknown illness that they couldn't fix. And like the mom walks in, she's like, he's gone. And then they cut to like the funeral and it's like very sad, but it's like doing some traditional Wakandan stuff. But then they like carry him out and like the whole city is like partying because it's like a celebration. You know how some cultures do that where it's more celebratory and they're not all like somber and dressed in black. And that was cool. It was a nice part. And then the very end of the movie, Shuri is doing like a little ritual that her mom wanted her to do, but she didn't want to because she was still too upset. But she does it. She like burns some clothes that he had. And then she just like thinks back and like, it shows some scenes of them together and stuff like that. And you're like, damn, that's heavy. And that's how the movie ends. It's just like her like picturing times they spent together and stuff. So, in that aspect, it was cool. The rest of it, I think the biggest weakness of the movie was Namor. I don't think he had any like gravitas or like, he just was not like Namor is like a hard motherfucker, and this guy just seemed kind of soft,
right.
He also didn't look like Namor. Like not everyone. A lot of people were upset that they're like making it Mesoamerican, all that kind of stuff. I thought that's cool because
it's a cool angle.
It sets it apart from the Atlantis of like DC's universe, and it's very like distinct, like the cool like headdresses, and they got all the the beads and the cool like colors and teals, and it was visually really cool. But Namor himself, and the way they did Namor's action scenes was really cool too. He's got these like winged feet like Hermes, and he was just like running on the air. Like, I don't know, I thought that was pretty sick. But just him himself just seemed like kind of a softie.
It's funny, I'm looking at him and it's like he's in great shape, but it's like he's like the least built out of any.
Yeah.
like the shot of him coming out of the water, his back is just like, that's just a regular guy's back.
Exactly.
Like they're treating it like he's Bane.
Yeah, right.
It's like your back's not that big.
He does not look like a swimmer at all. He should be absolutely carved. And he just is like in the middle of bulk season.
Yeah.
He didn't look like Namor to me. He like comes out of the water.
He looks short too. He looks like a short person.
He just looks very like average, like relatively strong guy.
We should kind of pick apart his physical appearance, I think.
I just think they could have picked someone that was like, you've seen fucking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, you know how carved these guys can get. And it just visually wasn't like he also comes out of the water and his hair is just like washed forward onto his forehead and then just like looks goofy as hell. Like Namor, I don't know. He's just like,
I think
otherworldly.
I think, yeah, you kind of want someone a little bit more alien, a little bit more lanky, maybe to play Namor. But I mean, I like the character design and the whole angle they got. It's interesting, but
they always call him Kukulkan. That's his name to them, to his people. And then there was a part in the trailer that I was waiting for in the movie where M'Baku is like, they call him Kukulkan.
You're like, word. We call him Namor for short.
And he calls himself Namor like that. He only pronounces it. But everyone else is like, Namor. Like an American.
We have to get Namor out of here.
Namor. Yeah. No.
When a horse is not neighing enough, they need to Namor. Was there any interesting story advancements in the overall MCU going on? Was there any good, was it written well? Was there anything? How about the new Black Panther? I'm assuming there is one in this movie. How were they?
So Shuri is reluctant to. She's like, the Black Panther's a relic. It died with T'Challa.
She's reluctant to take the vaccine.
Yeah, and then if you recall, Michael B. Jordan burned the whole garden of those plants that you gotta drink to become Black Panther. But Shuri saves one of them, and it's burnt, but she synthesizes a new one, and she becomes the Black Panther. And when she gets revealed as the Black Panther, the whole audience was a little round of applause. And the whole story kind of revolves around people governments have been searching for vibranium outside of Wakanda, and they're like, that's impossible. There's only vibranium in Wakanda. And it turns out that, possibly a meteor struck somewhere else, and that's where Talokan, that's Atlantis, that's what they call it in this movie, the Namor's city. So they have vibranium too, and he doesn't want the surface world to know about them or anything like that. So he's trying to get Wakanda's help to attack the surface world so that they can't attack them. And then they refuse. The Wakandans refuse, and so he attacks them because they revealed vibranium to the world. T'Challa did. He's the one that revealed Wakanda to the world. So that's kind of the conflict of the movie. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want me to just straight up spoil the whole thing.
No, I heard a weird sound in my apartment, so I didn't even really pay attention to what you just said. So
okay,
I'm
that's
assuming
just for the audience then, between us.
So, Wakanda, they're searching for vibranium. I think I started spiraling after you said Impossible Brew, the racist South Park reference.
So the American government and other governments are searching for vibranium because some was found not in Wakanda, but that turned out to be from or near Talokan, which is Atlantis. And
so the CIA found it near Atlantis.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so what happens after that, you said?
And so Namor blames Wakanda for, the human world, starting to snoop and get close to uncovering their city.
Right.
And so he's like, you need to join me in attacking them and preventing them from, getting vibranium and becoming a world superpower with vibranium, because they would, blow the world up.
Yeah, this is already starting to sound a little tedious narratively.
No, I feel like I'm doing a bad job to explain it. It's the human world is.
Oh, I can just already picture no, these people are bad. You have to join me for my people and how much they've suffered. They've suffered there, and we have to. It just seems like a copy and paste of Black Panther 1's kind of motive.
A little bit. Yeah, in that way. I mean, the first real scene after the funeral was the queen of Wakanda. She's in a government sort of assembly, and they're like, "Why are you not sharing vibranium with us?" And she's like, "I'm not sharing the vibranium because of its dangerous potential, but because of your dangerous potential." And then simultaneously, I'm pretty sure it's the U.S. government. They're raiding one of Wakanda's facilities to try and get vibranium, and Okoye and their badass spear ladies, they beat all those government operatives and bring them into that meeting, and they're like,
of course, easily.
They're like, yeah, so if you try and do this again, we'll fuck you up. This is a warning. And then it kind of cuts to, like an oil rig type thing, and they're diving in to find this chunk of vibranium on the ocean floor because the machine down there that detected it has had some problems, and they're like, oh shit, it's right here. But then they get attacked by the Atlanteans, and that's kind of what sets everything off. And the Atlanteans are like, or the Talokanians are like, yeah, we're gonna straight up attack the entire world now because you guys revealed vibranium to us. So either join us or you'll be the first people that will attack.
On some Hitler vibes. On some imperialism vibes. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot to introduce the podcast.
Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you?
I'm
You're
just
a bad person.
Just put a pin in that 1 second. We'll get right back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentle thems, it is Tuesday, November 15th. Welcome 2022. Welcome to another episode of Woken Boke. Episode 161 to be exact. I am one of your hosts, Connor Boyd, aka Moschino Dorito. You may know me from TikTok, Jaded Forum, maybe my Twitter, Instagram presence. This is a podcast I have been doing and will continue to do with my two besties from the great Gateway to the West St. Louis, Missouri. We are unfortunately not joined by Max Sanza, who is probably recovering from a recent gig he had on a cruise ship where he did sound again for, I believe, Newfound Glory on a Emo's Not Dead tour cruise ship.
An Emo's Pizza tour is what I thought you were about to say.
I wish, dude. I want to let emos take a tour of my digestive system. Yeah. So he's not here today, but we are joined by the OG from the MO. Motherfucking Tony goddamn Harrop is here today. Tony, what the fuck is up?
I'm in a be with my killer. So
I'm in a be with my killer. Oh, how you doing, dude?
I'm good. Yeah, doing great. I was absolutely hungover yesterday from a wedding I went to Friday night, but I'm fully recovered. So that is nice.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. I puked at 3 a.m. last night.
Fire.
And that basically made it so I didn't have a hangover, which is great.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So there's a sort of very vague scorched feeling in the back of my throat from vomiting. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We chalk those up. That's the
stomach acid.
Every week we get together, catch up on the latest video games, movies, our lives, anime, manga, internet shit, whatever we're doing. And you can subscribe to us if you want to follow along and watch every week. We have fun doing it. YouTube, you can subscribe. You can follow us on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can join our Discord. You can follow us on Twitter at wokenbokepod, Instagram at wokenbokepodcast. You can also reach out to our Gmail, wokenbokepodcast@gmail.com with your questions, comments, and suggestions, and we will read them, frankly, on the show. And all these are listed in the show description. But getting back to what we were talking about, Tony, I just wanted to get that in there. Mm-hmm, So it's funny because I realized recently I'm probably not going to watch any more Disney or Star Wars stuff. I think I'm done. And not in like a bitter way. I think I just like, it's just like this has been so bad so consistently for so long. Since basically Endgame, it's never even come close to touching that. Even the best that they have to offer, which is ostensibly, Multiverse of Madness, and then you could also say probably Spider-Man 3 or 4 or whichever fucking one that is. Even those there's just this hollow kind of like milking it sort of
Middingshire.
Middingshire the Ninth is what the medical community calls it. And so I'm just like, I'm done. And I want us to get to Andor at some point. We have an email actually that asks specifically about Andor. I'd also like to say on record that I believe I was the first person to say that show actually looked good. Let me just search my Twitter
Yeah, I remember seeing the first trailer. I was like, this doesn't look ass. So that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. God damn. Star Wars Andor. I want to find it because I really did. I posted it and I was like, this looks so good, but imagine if it was just any other IP. You know what I mean? So we'll get to that. But I just want to say, people are like, hey, Andor is actually good. It's actually good. And it's like, I could tell from the trailer and everything, like the way it was shot, the way it looks, the way it's cut together, the story beats that are probably there look good. So it's a kind of a shame that it's good because it's just perpetuating this shit. And people are hitting me up. Have you watched it? Some people are like, some people I follow literally on Twitter are like, they're fans of the show straight up. Like it's kind of crazy, but just as a side note, we'll get to Andor, but it's like, yeah, it's like you're now limited by basically a 10-year time frame. So it doesn't matter, maybe less probably in the Star Wars lore. So you have this much time, this much story, and if the show's good, you're fucked because you can only milk it so much. You can only fit so much in that time span. And it's like, my God, imagine if Lucasfilm made a new world, made a new story, new universe, whatever. Not even Lucasfilm, anybody made new canon and just IPs that had no limit to what they could do or be about or whatever, almost like Star Trek. But
are you saying like leave sort of Jedis and all that stuff completely and go beyond that? Because
I mean
they really had an opportunity to build up the post Return of the Jedi world, Luke starting a new Jedi Order and all that stuff, and they could have just gone from there and they'd have been good, because like Star Wars is Jedis. I mean, maybe this is a narrow view of it, but like that's the coolest part about it. Jedis, lightsabers, fighting evil.
Yeah.
It's like saying like making a superhero movie without a superhero. I don't know, like.
Well, it's like to me, it's kind of like what's exciting about Star Wars is the characters, is the characters and the overarching story. This opera of this guy is just a farmer from the middle of nowhere, and he's now involved in this rebellion against this giant empire that wants to, and he's like this special guy. It's like those are what makes Star Wars interesting, is that Skywalker saga story. And that's just not there in a lot of these things. And anything that Star Wars does well outside of that is because it just has an independently interesting story, regardless of whether it takes place in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like you have so much to work with Star Wars. You could make a Star Wars story that takes place in any time, anywhere, and you're not doing that. The one show I'm also not really looking forward to, because the point of me having this divergence into Andor is to say that I'm not watching these things, but there's going to be one that takes place in like the High Republic era, like back before the Jedi were destroyed, like in the peacetime of Star Wars. So that's going to be interesting. But back to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm probably not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch She-Hulk. I haven't seen half of the Phase 4 shit anyways. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, what are they setting up, do you think, here? I mean, are they setting up a new Avengers? Are they setting up, like, what is going on overall? Because it seemed like when we were this far down the line with the previous phases leading up to Infinity War and Endgame, we had a pretty good idea of what was going on. There was that Infinity Stone through line. Yeah. What is happening now? Is there any direction towards anything?
Almost nothing, it seems like. They've really replaced every main hero with a sort of young, like, sidekick version,
Right.
They replaced
Tony Stark's now Tom Holland.
In that, but I mean, they also in Wakanda Forever, they introduce Riri Williams, who I do have to give credit. Like, she's insufferable in the comics.
Mhm.
She's completely unlikable, just one of the worst characters Marvel's made. And in this movie, she wasn't insufferable at all. She was kind of, I don't know, just there. She really didn't.
Ironheart, you're referring to, right?
Ironheart, yeah. She didn't do any, like, she wasn't, like I said, insufferable or, lame or anything like that. But she didn't really do any. The actress was fine, but didn't really stand out. So just kind of neither here nor there with her. But
right,
her suit looked kind of cool. It looked better than in the pictures that I saw. Yeah, she's like this scientist. She's the only person in the world that could build that vibranium detector, and she built it for the American government. And Namor finds out and wants to kill her. So the Wakandans come and rescue her, and they take her back, and she helps them fight them off, and et cetera, et cetera. So she's kind of like the new Iron Man. You got Shuri's the new Black Panther. You have what's her name, Kate from the Hawkeye show. She's the new Hawkeye. You got the She-Hulk. You have, so you kind of get a theme that they're all women, which is fine, but
Oh, Kate played by oh wait, never mind.
Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. Okay, she does play it. Okay, got it. Yeah, I just don't love it. Love that they're evolving these characters, but it's like no one's going to come see these tentpole movies when the cast is all these people that are super young and we don't recognize at all.
Mm-hmm.
That are hardly playing characters we even
this is the
care about.
The whole issue is all of Marvel's not all of them, but most of Marvel's most popular characters are men. They're white men. They've been popular since the 60s. They had extremely popular, trilogies.
Yeah, they have all this support, from these boomer Gen Z guys or Gen X guys that grew up with this.
Yeah, and they're kids like me that they, ingrained, or they were like, this is superheroes, this is comic books, and that's what I grew up reading for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So those are my characters, and then recently, in the past decade, in the comics, they've been introducing all these characters. They introduced Ironheart. They introduced Kate Bishop. They introduced Jane Foster, the Natalie Portman's character. She became the new Thor. She-Thor, right? And She-Hulk had been around for a long ass time. But I'm trying to think of who else. Oh yeah, Ant-Man. They got his daughter in the new movie. She'll hypothetically take over for him.
It's just this is great. It's like I'm all for it, but it's like,
well, they're all knockoff characters.
They're all knockoff characters, and it's like we don't have any background as to what their personalities are or anything. You haven't done any of the groundwork character wise to make us care.
Well, and it's also just I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. Some of them I'm like, Thanos would crush your head like a blueberry, I can't see a lot of them just duking it out with high level villains and stuff like that. But they can do whatever they want. They can animate that and it'll happen.
Right.
Yeah. And I know I'm kind of the same way as you, where I'm fully done with the Disney shows. I tuned out after Moon Knight. I haven't watched a single one. In terms of the movies, I pick and choose. I didn't go see Love and Thunder in theaters. But I saw Doctor Strange, I saw Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Black Widow,
but it's like you gotta zoom out. What is it's like there's these people that are these characters now. None of them are stars.
No, yeah.
None of them are stars that we've seen in other movies that we've come to know and love through. They're plants. You've planted them in these roles. Haley Steinfeld was incredible in True Grit. She's a great actress. Letitia, I forget her name. Latita Wright. I'm sorry. I don't know
Who
her
is she?
from. She plays the new Black Panther.
Oh,
I don't.
sure, yeah,
I
okay.
don't know her from anything but Black Panther.
She's good. She's a good actress in this movie.
Absolutely.
Good performance.
Who else? Ironheart girl.
I've never seen her before.
Hardly
She's
anyone's familiar with Ironheart to begin with. The character, I don't even know who plays her. I don't know who plays her. Is it Dominique Thorne?
Sounds right.
Okay. I personally don't know her at all. Don't know a single movie she's ever been in. It's just I'm doing the math of like how much time they've got left to build up this big thing, and it's like we need to spend some quality time with these folks, and they need to be built story-wise, character-wise. They need to be developed. There needs to be movies, standalone movies with these people, and it's like that's not going to happen by the time you get to Kang Dynasty. No one's watching the fucking shows. Newsflash. No one's spending 12 hours to watch Mid to get the most basic character development. We will go and see a shitty movie because it's boom, done. We're done. Saw it. That was ass. It's done. But you left it having known, fucking Tony Stark killed, or Bucky Barnes killed Tony Stark's parents. Wow.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. You at least know that there's some development. No one's watching all these fucking shows. So by the time you have Kang Dynasty or whatever the fuck, it's going to be a bunch of characters no one knows about, starring a bunch of people we don't know from anything. And you're just riding on that Marvel stamp. It's just not. It's like a housing market. It's a bubble. It's a narrative bubble they are in. They are riding off of. They're still riding off the whole Thanos thing. To me, I think that's the only reason people are still, because it's like, well, this is going to lead to something. It's like it's really not. They don't have ideas. It seems like. So I don't know. I'm not wasting my time watching these things in the next couple of years. They don't even look that visually stimulating. And I kind of want to steer our conversation to Vigi Stimmy. Let's open it up to Vigi Stimmy in general. Right?
Please. Yeah, absolutely.
If I may. Let's talk about Avatar. I think I mentioned it earlier. 2009, was that great of a movie? No, it was like overhyped, overrated, whatever. Nowadays, no one ever puts in that much time investment to making a movie look that good because we live in a dying star of Hollywood where it's just like they are trying to milk whatever they can before all the lights go out. No one's ever actually putting in that quality time to make something that lasts. So the fact that James Cameron's making this movie 13 years after the first one, 12 years after 13 years, I think, after the first one.
Yep.
He's putting in that time. I'm actually excited to see what he has, regardless of narrative, from a visual standpoint. That's something I'll go see.
Yeah, I have to say, like, a lot of the criticism around recent franchises and such is that it's all derivative and all that stuff. Like, why don't you go, make something new instead of making knockoff Iron Man or whatever, and that's what he's literally doing. Like, it's his original world, his original Vigi Stimmy. So certainly. In that sense, because like my first impression when I saw the trailer was like, I don't care about this.
About Avatar?
Yeah, like the story of like what's going on, But the more I kind of think about it, the more I'm like, well, this is an original action movie. So that's at least something it is a sequel. But the franchise itself is an original franchise, and it
original world, original characters,
original designs.
Yeah.
So I got to commend it for that and not take that for granted, because it's like a rare thing these days.
And look, I'm watching the trailer right now. Does it look goofy and stupid? Absolutely. It looks dumb. It's a bunch of lanky blue people going around worshiping jellyfish.
Right.
It's pretty dumb looking. Jake Sully has locks. What's going on with that? You know what I mean? Like,
is Sam Worthington still in it? I don't know if he's still alive.
Yeah, it's clearly his face. Yeah, I know, right? got him out of fucking retirement.
Fully Thanos snapped off of the earth.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, I can tell this movie's going to be mostly CGI. It's not even, because there's no, in this trailer so far, there's not been a normal human being. It's like all the humans are gone. That's what it looks like.
I think there's some in like robots walking around, like the mech suits.
Okay, I'm seeing mechs, I'm seeing humans. Maybe they've returned. I don't know what the story is, but I mean, it still looks pretty incredible. I'll go see it for sure. But yeah, it's still goofy. It's still kind of dumb looking, but
That's what I'm saying.
An amazing visual, because I have to give things credit now for being, I mean, I'm seeing this giant. Yeah, there's a lot of there's just going to be some just amazing badass scenes in this, but I have to give, from an art perspective, just like credit to the visuals and special effects in movies where they actually are putting in that time and effort to go next level with it, instead of doing some Black Widow shit where they're like green screening. The most important moment of the movie is like green screen from a different country in a different day and like whatever. So this, you know, this is why we're excited for it. But I want to sort of pivot this Vigi Stimmy conversation into Raggy. Indeed. I have played 15 hours plus since Wednesday of God of War Ragnarok. Yesterday, I literally played so much of it, I had to put it down. I had to just like, I can't mentally apply myself to this game for another hour. I have to take a break and I have to come back to it, because literally it was like that. It was like, because there's puzzles, there's story, there's exploration. It's like you're constantly kind of like engaged mentally. It's not like COD where you can just turn your mind off. It's like there's dialogue, there's puzzles, there's story, there's combat, there's new moves you're trying to try. There's so much I could say about this game, but I'll start by saying it is... God of War Ragnarok is the first actual next-gen gaming experience I've ever had in my life since the first next-gen consoles came out. Another moment I could probably point to that maybe felt like that was playing Shadow of Mordor on Max's PS4 during college for the first time. That was definitely a moment where I'm like, okay, this is next gen. This is past Xbox 360 and PS3. This is next gen. Playing Ragnarok is the first time where I feel like I'm really playing a next gen game. I guess now we're at next gen, because Xbox 360, they were calling it next gen. It is absolutely stunning looking. If you've played God of War 2018, you know that game's already gorgeous. It's one of the best looking games ever made. And the way that it goes from combat to narrative to cutscenes, this is something that they've been doing, Santa Monica Studios has been doing since God of War 2, God of War 3. They've had this engine that can just literally zoom into your character and then a cutscene just starts and it's just seamless, which is just a feat in and of itself. So God of War 1, or God of War 2018, we know that game's amazing. We know it's incredible. I remember Max sat me down and we were blazed out of our minds. He's like, yo, play this for a second. And I started it, and you know, the way that game starts with you fighting Baldur, and then the way you know, testing out, like when I first threw the axe and I felt the combat, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have to get this game. This is incredible. So, you know, we know that game's fantastic and amazing. But playing this game on, you know, I invested in a large television this year for the first time in my life. I'd never bought a television. It's the first year I've ever really bought my own console. Growing up, I either had to ask my parents for one, or like in college, we split the PS4 and then I bought it off them after the fact. So this was like the first time I really had my own setup, and like I bought God of War Ragnarok like 3 days before it came out, all preloaded, and I sat down and I started playing it. And I really mean it. I really mean this is a next generation experience. There is so much fucking, just from a graphic standpoint, there is so much detail that it is absurd in the environments, in the weaponry, in the armor, in the characters' faces. The capture performance is unreal. The sky, there's a side quest where you free these giant jellyfish that are called, they're like Heath Baba or something they're called. But
Heath Baba.
They're Heath Baba. And they're like these giant jellyfish that float in the sky in the desert, and they sing like whales. And you're just watching, you free one of them in this area. It's like a desert area. I think it's Alfheim. You free one of them and it's just floating in the air. And it's like, it looks photorealistic. I mean, it looks incredible. And it's just floating in the air, not skipping a beat, not rendering at all, just floating in the air while you're going around doing quests, fighting shit. This game hasn't skipped once on me. It hasn't hitched a single time. Mind you, I'm playing it on the PS5, and we can have the conversation about games running well on the PS5 after this. And it's just floating in the air. And I mean, just like the takedowns, there's just so much I could say about this game, because my overall point to talk about God of War Ragnarok is artistic excellence. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Artistic excellence. Going the extra mile to make something that truly lasts, that truly stands on its own, that is a triumph, both technically and narratively. That is what I'm trying to get at. The legacy of God of War has only been fire. I haven't played the PSP game. Every God of War game I've ever played, like 10 out of 10 heat fire. I remember when God of War 3 came out on the PS3, I had never seen a game that looked that good in my life. It starts with you climbing up Gaia and fighting motherfuckers on Gaia while the Titans are climbing Mount Olympus. I mean, and it's like going in and out of cutscenes. It's incredible. Like the tradition of quick time events, fighting. I mean, we grew up watching footage of God of War, and it's like, wow, like I remember I got God of War 1 for the PS2, and I just fell in love with that game. When it was M-rated. I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games for a long time, but when I finally got my hands on that, when I was like a teenager, oh my God. Like, you grew up watching that. It's like, you can do all these, like, it's quick time events. You're cutting big creatures apart. You're fighting big creatures. There's the slashing. Like, it's a totally unique gameplay experience. And the way they've carried that legacy of, oh, this guy's almost dead, finish him off. The way that legacy has carried up until this game, where now you're literally killing like a giant lizard dragon bear and holding it like this. And then the camera zooms out and your son has an arrow pointed at him and shoots him like 3 times with an arrow. And then you both come and stab the fucking thing in the head and kill it. And then it just zooms back out and you're just back to playing. You're just no skip at all. I mean, it's just incredible. I was telling Maxwell's like, should I buy it? I don't know. I'd only played the game for like 3 or 4 hours. I was like, I told him, and I had only played 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, it's one of the finest video games I've ever played in my life. I would recommend anyone buy it. I would recommend anyone play it. Like, absolutely. Like, it is stunning. And man, I haven't even told Max anything about this because I want Max to just like experience it. Mm-hmm. The first hour and hour and a half, it's just incredible. They somehow topped themselves from the opening of God of War 2018.
Somehow,
so just
top.
Give yourself top, you know. So technical aspects aside, it's just incredible. It runs on the PS5 so fucking well. It's like the reason I call it a next gen experience is because I get lost in it. I'm playing on a 65-inch television on a PS5, playing a brand new game that is crafted. It's like their crown jewel right now is God of War. Sony is like, I'm playing like the very best this industry has to offer, and it is truly an experience. It is like, it feels like you're in the future playing this fucking game. Like you're just like, the narrative is amazing, the gameplay is amazing, the technical aspects are amazing, and you're lost in it. It's like a gift. You like get to experience this. So that's why I say next gen, because it's just like, it looks undescribably beautiful, and it runs incredible. Gameplay. I want to talk about the gameplay now. So like we could talk about how there's main quests and then there's side quests, and the side quests are even more fleshed out than God of War 2018. And there's just more armor to get and more things to craft. There's just more of everything, and not in a bad way. It's just more fleshed out. Everything. And spoiler alert, you play as Atreus in this game. You do. There are whole missions where you're playing as Atreus, and there's a whole upgrading leveling system with him. There's a whole combat system with him. I'm 15 hours into the game. They are still introducing new companions I can play with, new elements, new puzzle elements, new gameplay elements. Now a skill can actually get like a modifier that you can increase the stun, the damage, the elemental effect on each individual skill in the skill tree. You off rip have Blades of Chaos in combination with your axe. So you're using that to climb places, to grapple to places, to jump across. The mobility's totally it's scaled out now. The combat, dude. So a big factor now, they've really leaned into the runic effects, which are the elemental effects. So there's burn, and then there's flame, or there's burn, and then there's like ice freeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole system now where if you hold down triangle with your Blades of Chaos, or you hold down triangle with your axe, it like heats up the runic ability of that fucking weapon. And so there's all these new dynamics. Like there's multiple specific moves that you can only do when your shit's heated up, and they're extra elemental effect. I mean, it goes so deep. And then it's like, you can upgrade the skill tree for the blades. You can upgrade both weapons to make it so that when like someone's frozen, the blade, the flame damage does extra damage. Ooh. And when someone's on fire, the ice damage does extra damage. So you're finding yourself motivated to keep switching back and forth between the axe and the blades. And if you're playing the game right, you're just going crazy. You're doing like, you're engaging in like 20 different move sets. It's not just like you can play the game just spamming R1 and R2 and just hitting guys, or you can charge up your fucking axe, throw it at a guy, freeze a guy, then use your blade, throw it at him, stick it to him, hold it, and then pull yourself forward, smack him, and then start punching the fuck out of him, and then have your companion shoot an arrow, and then grab your axe back and then slice him up while he's on fire. I mean, it's like it's just, if this game had 8-bit pixel graphics, it wouldn't fucking matter. The gameplay is so crazy. You can do so many fucking things that I'm literally there almost stressed I'm not doing enough different things, because there's so many different moves. There's a whole move set of pressing a certain button after you've dodged, which I rarely ever do. You find yourself sometimes not really needing your companion's help, or not really using them, because you're so obsessed with trying to get different combos. And I mean, it is just, I can't say enough good shit about it. And it's a game that I think will truly be a contender for Game of the Year with Elden Ring. It's crazy. And I think the big differentiator, I've not played Elden Ring. I've never actually played a From Software game except Dark Souls 1. And I didn't beat it. I just started it one time. I think the big differentiator is, Elden Ring is like a critically acclaimed masterpiece. God of War could be a critically and popularly acclaimed masterpiece. I mean, so is Elden Ring. People love Elden Ring, but God of War is like this perfect synthesis of, Tim Rogers did that review of The Last of Us, and he's like, this is kind of a synthesis of the prestige game, of the game of the year type of game, in the 2010s and things like that. This is it at its purest form. God of War is like takes the From Software kind of like play style, and now in this game has fleshed it out to it almost transcends all that. It's almost its own thing entirely. It makes it so approachable, and just there's just a million brilliant things about it. I can't say enough about it, but I'll shut up for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm if I wasn't excited before, I'm now on the hype train for experiencing that while fully on goobers.
Oh my
Mayor
God.
of Gooberville. Yeah.
I mean, it'll look fucking stupid if we do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll look fucking stupid. I mean, it's like,
yeah, I don't even know.
In the whole game, it's like already just fantasy. So it's trippy as hell. I mean, one of your companions is just a severed head named Mimir, and he's the smartest man in the world. And he's just this guy with horns that's on this, like, he's tied to this rope, and you just hold him on your back like he's a fucking satchel. And he just talks all the time. And he's got like glowing yellow eyes, and he can like tell stories and shit. And he'll be like, behind your back, brother, like when you're fighting. Like, it's
so
just
your back. That's cool,
dude. And there's like, I don't know. The one thing I really thought of recently was like, there was this big just magic water buffalo thing that came out of the water, and it was like, it comes like right up to the screen. That's the other thing, is like the game runs buttery smooth at 60 frames per second 4K. So like in these cutscenes, you're just like, people are getting like this close to you, and you're just like sitting there like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's just visually, it's one of the most beautiful looking fucking games ever. And it also just generally makes me excited for more first party PS5 games, like Hogwarts Legacy, and I don't know if that's first party actually. I think that might be multi-platform, but whatever. All these games, all these next gen games, it makes me excited for them. And it's funny because I was playing Modern Warfare 2. I was like addicted to it, and Warzone 2 comes out this week. There's a bunch to talk about with that too, but I mean, you can't beat a game that you can just turn your phone off, put it in the corner, don't even need internet access really, just dive in and just, it's a story. But the reason I said like I had to take a break and I couldn't keep playing it was literally because I was playing it for probably 4 hours straight. And it was just another, like, here's another whole area with a bunch of different places to explore, and there's puzzles to get around. And it's just like, dog, I'm fried. Like I've been playing this too much. And like I said, 15 hours into the game, they're still adding like, oh, you just unlocked this arrow, which allows you to unblock these paths. And if you shoot them at an enemy and use it like that, then it has this effect. And it's just like too much, bro. Incredible.
How much longer do you think you have in the game? Like, what percentage completion are you at? Does it tell you?
So, Tony, what I am doing is I'm doing every side quest the moment I get it. I'm leaving nothing untouched. Cool. So it's been like 2.5 hours since I've done a main quest.
Yeah.
If not longer. So I don't know. I'm taking the scenic route.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be a thing where the main story is probably a little bit longer than the first game, because you are playing as Atreus. And you're playing as him for like an hour and a half. You'll be playing as Atreus. It'll be like, there's a scene where he runs off and it's like 2 days go by and you're just playing as Atreus. And then you're just like, damn, is this going to be like, this is cool, but don't rob me of that quality Kratos time. You know what I mean?
Right,
Don't rob me of the raggy. You know what I mean?
Here for.
That's why I came here, for that young raggy. And it's like, and they're like, no, don't worry, you'll have another 5 to 6 hours of Kratos gameplay right after that. So it's like, it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, it could be, I have no idea how long it's going to be, because the Atreus thing, they're setting up like, oh, don't worry, you'll be back here quite often. Like, and it's like, how often? Because I see this giant blank screen and the amount of skills in the skill tree is like this small right now. So it's like, how much Atreus gameplay am I going to be playing? So I would imagine it's probably the main story. If you did no side quests and you just played the main story, it's probably going to be a lot longer than the main game. But then if you're doing the scenic route like I am, dude, this might be like a 30, 40 hour game. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea, bro. It could be, because the first one's not short. I mean, you're doing a lot. And then once the game ends, it's still open. So you can go do more side quests and shit. But no, I have no idea, dude. But it is. And even with just like the main game with Kratos and all that, it's just like there's still so much to unlock. The last thing I'll say is, there was like an article I saw that was like, I think it was in French, so I may have this wrong, but I like translated it, and it was basically saying that God of War Ragnarok side quests are better than The Witcher 3's side quests, and Witcher 3 is considered like one of the best games ever made. And I've not played it, but apparently the side quests are amazing. And so people are raving about the side quests in God of War Ragnarok, and I gotta say, you don't want to miss a single one of them. Like, they're just as good, if not better, than the main game. Like, there's one where you're playing it, like the Hüthbaba or whatever the fuck that shit is. Throughout the mission, your son's like, why are you coming along to help me? Because the point of the mission is your son hears an animal screaming in pain, and so you just follow him to go find it and free the giant jellyfish that's stuck underground, and it's causing this big sandstorm. And once it's free, the sand settles, and then you have all these places to explore. Throughout the mission, he's like, why are you going along with this? Like, you usually don't give a fuck about.
You're a dick.
Yeah, you're usually just like a cold dick. You don't really give a fuck. And by the end of the mission, you're sitting there with your son watching this jellyfish fly in the air. And he's like, why did you help me? And then Mimir, the severed head's like, I think he just wanted to spend some time with you, man. Like, I think he just wanted to spend time with his son. And then Kratos goes like, we don't know how much time we have left, so I want to enjoy it while we have it. Because Ragnarok, quote unquote, is coming, which is like the apocalypse. And they don't know if that's happening legit or not. And Atreus is just like, well, thank you, I guess, And then it's like they're like a step away from them being like, I love you to each other. But you're just watching this jellyfish fly, and it's just like, this is a fucking side quest. Like, you could just miss this. So it's, if you're playing it, don't. And also the side quest, that's where all the good loot is, man. Like, that's where the good armor is. That's where good everything is. Like, there's this part, I won't even say it. I don't know. Like, when the game's like, you can explore now, or you can just move on to the next mission. Don't move on to the next mission. Stay there, because there's another like 5 hours of gameplay. And it's like, dude, I was like, we went to this certain realm, beat a mission, and they're like, all right, and that mission was already long. All right, you can go to this shit now, or you can explore here. And it's like, not only can you explore like 3, 4, 5, 6 different side quests here, but then you've unlocked something that you can go to a previous realm, unlock a new area there, and then play a bunch of side quests there. So it's just like,
oh my God,
it's huge. It's amazing. It's graphically gorgeous. It's incredible. And I can't wait to keep playing it. And it's going to be fucked up to have Warzone, DMZ, all the new season of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 out, and then also Ragnarok still chilling there. I was trying to burst through it this weekend. Like, I'll beat it before Warzone. It's not happening. Not happening.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing both those back and forth.
Dude, I gotta say, Call of Duty, I'm just clapping. Like, I'm getting 30 kills every game. So the whole like,
what's your go-to?
Well, I'm just leveling guns up. So I finished the Fennec, I finished the P90, I finished the first SMG. I did 3 snipers. Just trying to get what I think I'll use in Warzone, because I'm probably not going to chase that Damasky this time. The final
The
camo.
Orion.
Yeah, that's just too much time I would have to put in to get that. I mean, they are putting out Shoot House and Shipment, so I don't know, maybe. But
I'm thinking I may, just for shits and giggles, try and go for Orion on this one.
yeah,
I
don't know. I probably will. I'm just saying I won't.
But, the thing that I'm doing now is like everyone's like, oh, I'm getting golds. I'm getting as many golds as I can. I'm like, y'all are I'm trying to unlock every weapon first. Like there's so many weapons that aren't unlocked that I have to do that. So that's what I'm focusing on, is I'm just trying to unlock every weapon before I try to make any of them gold, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the M4 has like 5 weapons behind it.
Right. Yeah. That's
crazy.
The weird thing, is you gotta level up other weapons to get other weapons unlocked. It's not just your level that unlocks them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like other weapons you have to level up, which is kind of a bitch, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm stoked for Warzone 2. You know, they have the separate circles that collapse. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be awesome. You can interrogate downed enemies and reveal the location of their teammates, which is really sick.
Fucking fire.
Yeah.
That's what the Fortnite started that back in the day.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, you could like during the spy season, you could like shake guys, and it would like show you. I don't know. It would like show you where they are or where they're. I don't know. Yeah,
that's sick. Yeah, they're gonna have like 20 unique vehicles. That's cool. There's like water combat. You can swim in this game. Just like
sick.
Yeah, it's
dude.
It's
the water
insane.
combat and the ledge hanging makes you just like such a badass. Like you're in the water and you come out of the water and you're like,
where's the fucking Charlie? Where are they?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So have you just been playing PC? Have your problems subsided somewhat, or?
Yeah, they've mostly. I mean, it did crash last night, but otherwise, though, all the choppiness is gone and all that kind of stuff. So,
was it a driver update or?
I guess so. I mean, you know, I did have to update my driver initially, and then the other day I was saying I needed to, but then I just didn't, and it still worked. So I don't know if that was just like a weird
Makes
error.
sense.
Yeah, because I started it and it was like, there's a driver error, but it just continued to boot up, and I played and I was like, okay, well, guess not.
Okay, well.
But yeah, I don't know. It makes me want to get a PS5 though, just because the experience is just so much smoother on console.
Well, that's the thing I was kind of referring to. Okay. That's kind of. That's kind of the thing I was referring to with regards to like how it performs, is like, I don't know, man. It's like these games are still made for consoles first and foremost, you know? Like some games are not, and like free to play games or some of the, I don't know if Rainbow Six Siege is free to play. PC games run great on PC. Valorant, Siege, like Splitgate, all these shits run great on PC. Halo Infinite, in my opinion, ran very good on PC. But when it comes to these big multi-platform AAA games, you can get fucked. I mean, it's also just specifically Call of Duty. It's really annoying. But yeah, that's why I wanted a PS5 really bad, because I just looked at the calendar and I was like, Modern Warfare 2 coming out and God of War coming out. I think I gotta get a PS5, and so I'm glad I did. But
speaking of PS5 games, is when we enter the realm of goob, is Skull Guy 2 going to be out?
That's a great question, Tony. They're making Spider-Man 2. That's what you're referring to?
Indeed, yeah. Skull Guy.
PS5.
I know it's coming out soon.
Buzz. It comes out. I don't know when it comes out. Still on track for 2023 release, says Insomniac.
Okay.
So not quite yet.
Just gonna have to rip the original.
Good for
Skull
Insomniac, going from fucking Ratchet and Clank to fucking Spider-Man games Quite a move.
Mhm.
It seems like you'll probably be able to play as like Venom in it too, which is
Oh my god, that'd be
dope.
insane.
Or like at least symbiote Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll be
insane.
amazing. Even though, you know, frankly, Spider-Man games are not the greatest when it comes to story or like any of that shit, but
No, they haven't been, but who knows? Maybe the new one will be
we'll see.
cool, you know. I just want to see the entire Rogue gallery. You know, I want to have some like really epic like God of War level fights, you know. Like you're running up the side of the building and like Doc Ock is throwing like fucking railroad tracks at you or some shit. You got to dodge that shit.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. The first one was good. I liked the story. Wasn't amazing. The graphics have aged a little bit, but it was still Skull Guy at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skull Guy 2. Yeah. No, we'll definitely have to probably rip that at least for a little bit while we're goobed.
Yeah, for sure.
That and Righty Rep, Riders Republic.
Righty Rep. John Wick 4 coming out soon, by the way.
Ooh, yeah. There's a trailer out for that, actually. I need to peep that.
Gotta love it. But man, we've had a thick episode today.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry about me
12.
just having a manic spiel over God of War Ragnarok, but in my opinion, it really is that good. It was getting 10s across the board, and I'm like, that doesn't usually happen if a game's not good. Like that doesn't. Yeah. You don't usually see 10s across the board if a game's truly not good. So, and it is. So, good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. I will be playing that over break with you for sure.
Absolutely, one way or the other. All right, my man. Well, everyone, we didn't get to the Andor email question. We will next time.
Save it for next time. Yeah. I'll rip the entire show beforehand, and then we'll read it.
You hear that, folks?
It's a big maybe on that.
Have a great week. We'll see you in the week of Thanksgiving. That'll be next time.
No, the next time is
it'll be the week of Thanksgiving.
It'll come out. Yeah.
So happy holidays. Stay warm. Stay present. You know what I mean? And have a good day. And we love you. Woken Boke forever, motherfuckers. Peace the fuck out.
Peace.